Island FM 107.1.
Hello everybody and welcome to Going Wild in the Highlands. This is the March episode. It's the beginning of autumn. We're going to look at things that change in autumn and we're going to have a look at some of the things that we're saying goodbye to through summer. So there's a lot again on our plate. Let's get into it straight away. Lou, the first thing is breaking news.
I know what you're going to say. It's the koala.
A koala has been sighted up on the Jib, or as it's more officially called, Mount Gibraltar. This is fantastic news. It's not the first time that a koala's been sighted up there, but it's the first for quite some time. And there's some beautiful photos around on Facebook.
And he looked, or she looked, so healthy, I thought.
Yes.
And
healthy.
so happy.
Yep,
And sitting
nice
in the
and
crook of a tree.
relaxed. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we really want to ask our audience to please be careful when you're driving through that area because the koalas will move. They'll be trying to cross roads and, you know, getting out and about. Koalas need a corridor, a length of natural area to move through. They don't just sit in a tree, even though that's what we see photos of all the time. They have to move and forage and find mates and find other food sources. So if you have a look at Bowral on Google Maps, you'll be able to see that from the Jib down out through Mittagong, there's a narrow corridor of natural area that koala will be moving through, and hopefully others will be moving through to come and find that one. And, you know, that's really important, but those areas are also crossed by roads, and we need to be aware that koalas may be crossing those roads.
Yes, because they often come down and walk. I mean,
Yes.
greater gliders never walk. But koalas don't just go from tree to tree. They actually do cross roads.
That's right. That's right.
So, yeah, you got to be so careful, especially that Oxley Drive that just is so beautiful. Whenever I go up there, it's like, oh, this is like fairyland.
Yep.
It's so beautiful.
Right in the middle of town, really.
Curly, yeah,
So
beautiful.
watch out for koalas. And those people who haven't listened to our little snippet about avoiding injuring wildlife on the roads, it's called Why Did the Koala Cross the Road? You'll find it on our YouTube channel. There's lots of really good information there about what to do if you inadvertently injure an animal, come across an injured animal, and what things some communities are doing to make wildlife crossings safer for animals. So check that out. There's a little, how about that, Lou? I got an ad in.
It's so exciting. The news just went like wildfire. People just showing each other this picture on. I was in a car with 4 other people and it came through, and then the next day I was somewhere else and it came through again, and it was like, well, we are excited, guys.
Yeah, how lucky are we?
Oh, we are so lucky.
So we've been up to one or two things since we last recorded. We went down, do you think we can talk about a visit that's out of the Highlands? We went down to Cascade Falls, down from Macquarie Pass.
Well, it's only just outside, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it's a whole different kind of habitat, isn't it? Something we
It
don't
is.
get hardly
Yeah.
at all, except
So
maybe down in the creeks. So
Is that temperate rainforest? Is that what we would call it?
I'd call that rainforest. If you want to start to get classification, I don't know that you might call it cool temperate forest. I'm not
right.
sure. You want to get fancy.
So if one
But
of our
anyhow,
friends
it's
who knows
definitely
stuff-
rainforest, isn't it?
Yeah,
With
it's
these
gorgeous.
wonderful curly lianas and coachwoods and sassafras. They're really only grow in these kind of really wet places where it's dense and
Yeah.
dark and cool, and a whole different gamut of different animals live there. It's a whole different habitat.
It is. We had a really great time and we saw and heard some different birds. This was actually a good ad in a way for learning bird calls because we became aware of some species that we don't see very often at all. And in some cases we didn't see them even at the rainforest because it's dense, but we knew who was around because we could recognise their calls.
Yes. And there's an echo that goes around the rainforest because of the lovely tall trees. It's like living in a cathedral, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, it's got that echo. And so we saw some rare birds for us.
We did.
Didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Really
we heard a
beautiful
cicada bird that was calling in the distance.
Brush cuckoo, which I have seen it on the highlands, brush cuckoo, but the migrant.
And the yellow-throated scrub wren.
Oh, we're very excited about that. I like to call him the Lone Ranger bird because he's got this black, it's a small yellow bird, sort of in the scrub or mid layers, yes?
Yes.
He's small, but he's bright yellow, and then he's got this black mask over his eyes all the way around to the side, and he looks like the Lone Ranger.
But not very cooperative for taking photos. I've got lots of photos of blurred yellow-throated scrub wren.
Well, yeah, he was pretty lively. Well,
Yeah.
there'd been a lot of rain, and so this was a nice warm day, and the insects were just bursting their bubbles.
Yes.
Their eggs.
Yes.
And I think all the insectivorous birds
were out and about. Yeah. And speaking of which, we also saw a number of dragonflies in there. That was gorgeous too.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was a fabulous. It's called Cascade Falls.
Yes.
And it's at the
right
foot.
at the bottom of the Macquarie Pass.
You can actually park on the left-hand side when you get to the bottom, and then there's a cleared area of grass, and then you just go beyond that, and you then start to go into the fairyland.
And we didn't even mention that there's a gorgeous waterfall at the end.
Waterfall at the end.
It's an easy walk. It's comparatively short. If you go slowly, you'll see and hear all kinds of things. We really recommend it.
I love that walk.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
And then a little bit later in the month, we went to visit Kirsten, who is a wildlife carer in the Southern Highlands. Her Facebook page is called Native Wildlife Rescue. Kirsten's one of a number of wildlife carers that we have in the Highlands. She looks after injured animals and unwell animals, and she takes sometimes the little bubs out of pouches from roadkill and cares for them, feeding them bottles and things, sometimes up to 5 times a day, until they're strong enough to eventually be reintroduced into the wild.
What a woman, eh?
She is amazing, and she works from dawn till dusk.
And how hard she works. Like we were there 3.5 hours or something like that. During that time, we went to the little wombat enclosure.
Yeah, that was great.
Got very hard bums, haven't they?
They have, like koalas.
Yeah. And she fed them with special formula milk. Has to be the right temperature. And then we did the same with the baby kangaroos. Some were greys and some were wallaroos, the common wallaroo, which is a different kind of kangaroo, which we do have in the Highlands. But
Yes.
Broader chest, does look different.
Different shaped ears too.
More muscular, rougher fur. And honestly, she was just working all
The
the
whole
time.
time.
And it's hard, yucca.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know how she does it 7 days a week. She has some volunteers to help her, but, it's her problem every single day.
And she's on call day and night.
That's right, yeah. So she had a few messages that she wanted us to pass on to listeners about help that she needs and advice that she would like Highlanders to hear. And one of the main messages is that she would really like to be put out of a job. It would be fabulous if she didn't receive as many injured animals and young bubs from killed animals as she does. So she really does request that we drive carefully, especially at dawn and dusk. And again, if you haven't listened to our video called Why Did the Koala Cross the Road, please check that out and you'll get a whole lot of advice about that. She also has major concerns, as do so many wildlife carers, about barbed wire. Barbed wire is a really huge problem and is the cause for many of her animals to be brought into care.
I know barbed wire is the cheapest kind of wire, and that's why people use barbed wire. But really, it is so dangerous, not just for kangaroos that may not make it, for bats, for birds of prey, owls. So many animals get caught, and it's such a slow and ghastly death.
And Kirsten was saying that sometimes the animal comes in with what appears to be a superficial tear injury from the barbed wire, but after they've cared for them a number of days, it becomes clear that the barbed wire has cut off the circulation to the end of limbs on some animals, and eventually they lose the limb.
Yeah.
So that she's cared for the animal for a number of days and then it has to be euthanized. So people with barbed wire, you can put tape on the top string of barbed wire, apparently. I've seen a little bit of this on Facebook and on other wildlife pages. So if you've got barbed wire fencing, particularly that top row, consider putting tape on that. The nocturnal animals can't see the wire at night time. That's apparently part of the cause of the trouble. And the wombats get caught if you've got barbed wire along as the bottom string of your fence. So please really think about that if you've got barbed wire.
Spare a thought for these poor nocturnal animals who are just trying to
Make a
around
living.
us.
That's right. And if you do come across an injured animal or you inadvertently injure an animal, call Wires or South Coast Wildlife Rescue. You'll get a carer on the other end of the phone that will be able to advise you.
And I think Kirsten could do with some money.
Yeah.
that precious little thing. I mean, she's doing this incredible work on the sniff of an oily rag, isn't she? And
That's
it's
right.
not cheap. Formula milk and foods and sheds have to be maintained. She says that washing alone. Do you remember?
Several loads a day.
Several loads a day, and that's an electricity bill to pay.
That's right.
And, all these animals need towels and soft furnishings and what have you when they're little babies and they're in the pouches and, made pouches, So there's so much that she would like to do. She would like to have a medical facility there, wouldn't she? She's got a shed at the moment, but she'd love to have it all decked out. So if any of you are winning the pools this, have a lucky strike and you don't know what to do with that $1.5 million, Kirsten would love it.
Yeah. So there's recently been put together a group called Southern Highlands Wildlife Support. And this group has come into existence to help Kirsten and other wildlife carers in the Highlands with all of the resources that they need. And they're working on getting some grant applications in and putting a whole lot of other things in place to help Kirsten and other carers like her. But some particular things that Kirsten asked for and that Southern Highlands Wildlife Support would like us to mention is that it would be great if there were some more vets in the Highlands area who could see injured animals at fairly short notice. At the moment, Kirsten's travelling significant distances with injured and unwell animals, and that's costing her fuel and time and so on. So if there's any local vets around who'd like to put their hand up to help with that, a certain amount, that would be great. She's also, or the group, Southern Highlands Wildlife Support and Kirsten, would like to be putting together a list of potential release sites. If you've got a decent patch of land, particularly if it is contiguous with bushland, national park or any of that sort of thing, then wildlife carers would really like to hear from you so that, they can do some soft releases of animals once they become well. In New South Wales, carers are required to release native animals back into the native areas, and we want them to be able to do that safely. She also needs someone to do admin for her and various volunteers to help her with picking up animals, taking them to the vet, running around with them for checkups and those sort of things. So if you think that you can assist with any of those things, for the moment, the best thing to do would be to contact us at flossandlou@gmail.com, and we'll put you in touch with the relevant people from Southern Highlands Wildlife Support or with Kirsten. Thank you for thinking about all those things, and hopefully we can make life easier for our fabulous wildlife carers. Lou, anything else you want to say about our visit? We could talk about it all day.
We could talk about it. We were there a long time. It was an eye-opener, wasn't it, really, how hard it is and how tough it is. Yeah. I mean, the dedication, the only people, it's just like being a nurse, really, isn't it? A full-time, 24/7 nurse.
And Kirsten has been doing it for years, as I think.
And she's on her own. I mean, these people take on, it's not like they've got a little army, like, Dr. Watts going to come and check a wombat in a couple of hours. There's no Dr. Watts coming to check it.
That's right.
Yeah, it's very tough.
Yeah, so keep her in mind, everyone. Drive carefully and look out for some more information from Southern Highlands Wildlife Support.
Can I talk about what's going on in my garden?
Please do.
I've got a couple of things. That, I get excited about. Well, one of them actually is a gardening tip. I don't know if this has happened to your bottle brushes, but my bottle brushes have suddenly been invaded by They're not called Spitfires, are they?
There are Spitfires. They're little caterpillar. Yeah.
And their tails go up. And they all live together, and they skeletonize the leaves of bottle brushes in particular.
Oh, right. Yes.
And they chew their way through a whole plant in no time at all. Because they all work together. They all sit side by side. And they are basically sawfly larvae. That's right. What they are. They're sawfly larvae. And they're called Spitfires, I think, because if you wave your hand over them, they put up their tails, just rise up, and I believe they can actually spit something not very nice into your hand.
Right.
So you've got to treat it with, you need gloves. But they have to go.
Yes.
They have to go, or your bottle brush will be no more dead.
Right.
And I just saw them on one bottle brush, and then I went, it's been very wet. And at this time of year, moisture and heat, the eggs break out, and suddenly you've got an infestation. And I checked out all my bottle brushes, and nearly every single one had young populations of sawflies on them.
Oh, wow. I must have a look at mine.
Gardeners, have a look at your bottle brushes, and what to look for is the skeleton. Look at the leaves. You won't see the Spitfires at the moment. Well, mine are very small. But you will see the whole leaves have been totally eaten out. All's left is the veins. So have a little inspection, and the way to find them is trace those skeleton leaves, and you will see them chewing, and you have to remove them really by hand. It is a little disgusting, but the alternative is worse.
Right, so you just literally pick them off.
Yeah, I wear gloves, and I use a broad pair of scissors to scrape them off the leaf, because they all jam up together. So you get many in a hit. And I also carry a cloth with me to wipe the scissors. I know it's not nice. It's not nice, but it's quick.
Got to be done.
Yep.
So recently, when I was out and about, I saw a group of round about 13 gangs. They all flew in and landed in some hawthorns, unfortunately.
They love hawthorn berries.
They do. This little group also included at least one begging juvenile. It was making a racket. So I thought that we should talk a little bit about gangs, because these are super special birds that we have in the Highlands. They're yet another of the over 50 endangered animals that I go on about and Lou goes on about that we have in the Highlands that we need to protect. I think most people know what gangs are, but someone pointed out a gang to me once, and it was actually a yellow-tailed black cockatoo. So we might do a little go at describing them.
Aren't they? Grey parrots. They're grey. That's a start.
Yep. And the male, the distinctive thing.
Oh. Has he got a beautiful head?
He has. He's got a magnificent red head and red crest. He's just
a tuft of feathers at the top of his head.
That's right. He's a beautiful looking guy with a grey body otherwise, and this beautiful red tufty head. The female is more grey, and each of her feathers has got a little bit of yellow, pinky yellow edging that results in her looking like she's kind of stripy in a way.
Or speckledy a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah.
I feel like
she's
she
very
wears...
she's discreet
Yes.
in her colouring.
Yes, she's wearing a stripy onesie. That's what I think.
Oh, right, okay. And how do you know they're there?
Sometimes you don't hear them. Oh, well,
You
the
hear
sound.
them.
Yes, but sometimes they're just eating. But we'll talk about... So the sound you want to tell us. Tell us about their call, which is very distinctive.
Their call.
Oh, their chatting sound.
I guess, yes, I would. Yeah, okay, I would know their call. Their call is... It's not really a call. They call it a creaky door call.
Yeah.
It's sort of,
Yeah.
like that.
So I read another description that was the sound of a cork coming out of a wine bottle. Not the pop, but that getting them.
Yeah. But very often you won't hear that. What you will hear if you're standing still, especially under she oaks, you'll hear this sort of something's munching up there in the canopy. It's just munching. And then if you look up, you'll see maybe stuff coming down.
Yeah.
And they're just quietly working their way through those sheer nuts and getting the seeds out.
Yeah.
And they're very quiet when they're doing that. When they're feeding, they don't want everybody to know.
That's right. I was standing chatting to one of our friends who knows stuff next to her car under some trees in Penrose a year or so ago. We were just chatting away, not taking much notice of what was going on, and suddenly we realised there was this tink, tink, tink sound, and we were, what's happening? What's that about? And we looked, and there were gangs immediately above us just dropping nuts down onto her car.
Yeah.
So we'd been standing there oblivious to their existence, except that they were dropping nuts. So these guys are really important. Cockatoo, endangered, as I said. They're yet another bird that breeds in hollows. And I've learned recently that they're what they call altitudinal migrants. We're going to talk about migrants as well in another little segment. But they actually come up to the highlands to breed, apparently, and we will probably see fewer of them over the next few months as they move further down altitudinally. People are particularly worried about them since the fires. They were already considered to be vulnerable, but it's estimated that about a third of their habitat was destroyed by the 2019-2020 fires. So these guys, their habitat, their places to nest, the hollows, have all been affected very much by the fires, and we really need to retain whatever bushland we can that will host them. They'll eat hawthorn, they eat berries and nuts. They're relatively Catholic as to what they eat. But in particular, people would like to encourage us to plant eucalypts and wattles to encourage gangangs. Keep your eye out for gangangs. Report sightings of gangangs if you can on Nature Mapper or iNaturalist, and just tell yourself how lucky are you to live in an area where we're seeing gangangs. So let's talk about things happening in March. Whoa, there are so many things happening in March. We're going to have a slightly new approach to this segment because we really want to be able to advertise lots and lots of happenings in the highlands in nature, and we want to encourage more people to put their functions up. So what we're going to do is create a calendar and put that up and pin it on our Facebook page each month, so that I'll run through things very quickly. But if you want to know more about them, or you want to be reminded, or you think, oh, it's a Saturday morning and I've got nothing to do, I wonder what's on, you'll be able to go to our Facebook page. So here's my quick read, but by the time you hear this, hopefully, we'll have a calendar on the Facebook page as well. Saturday, March the 2nd, Clean Up Australia Day at the Jalore Flora Reserve from 9 till 1, and further instructions on their Facebook page. Sunday, March the 3rd, another Clean Up Australia Day, this time over in the Welby area, meeting at the Welby Hall. It's going to run from 8:30 to 10:30. The contact person for that is Heather Kemp, shlandcare@gmail.com. Saturday, March the 9th, Planting Day at Pinaroo for the Southern Highlands Land Care Group. Anyone is welcome to go to that. The contact for that is shlandcare@gmail.com. Again, find it on the calendar. Friday, March 15th is the last day for entries for the Wingecarribee photo competition. This month we're having National Eucalyptus Day, and Wingecarribee is running a photo competition for that, to take a photo of your favourite eucalypt. And there's a secondary and primary school category, and there's also an adult category. If you want to submit to that, then please send your photo to mail@wsc.newsouthwales.gov.au. On Saturday, March 16 in Wallandilly, there's a lecture about growing seasonal vegetables at the Robin Davies Community Nursery from 9:30 to 11:30. Have a look on the Wallandilly Shire Council website for information about that. Wednesday, March 20, The Giants, the Bob Brown film, is being shown at the Empire. It's a free screening, and after that there will be a talk from Dr. David Lindenmayer, amazing guy. He's really done some fabulous things for Australian nature, launching his book, and there's going to be a second mystery speaker. Wait to learn more about that. More information about that, mail at wsc.newsouthwales.gov.au. Thursday, March 21st, creating a habitat garden at the Robin Davies Wallandilly Community Centre. Again, details on the Wallandilly Shire website. Friday, March 22nd and Saturday, March 23rd, there are eucalyptus ID workshops. There's been a few of these in the last couple of years, and everyone tells me they're really great. This one's going to be done at Canyon Lee Hall. And for information on that, contact belinda.booth@wsc.newsouthwales.gov.au. Saturday, March 23rd for National Eucalypt Day, there's going to be a talk on native and exotic grasses, again by Belinda Booth, belinda.booth@wsc.newsouthwales.gov.au. And Landcare are looking to set up a new group called Helping Hands, which is volunteers who are willing to go and assist on properties owned by private landholders, just to assist them with weeding or in some cases planting. This is not going to be on a regular date, but will happen from time to time. If you would like to volunteer for that, I think it sounds like a great idea. Contact heather.kemp, K-E-M-P, at bigpond.com. And then every month there's the regular Berrima Working Bees at Berrima Wildlife Reserve on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays from 9 till 12 with a morning tea break. Meet at the end of Sutton Street, Berrima. And in Picton, Stone Quarry Creek Bush Tucker Garden, 8:30 to 10:30 on the first Friday of every month. Meet behind the Hume Oval along Stone Quarry Creek, Picton. Register on the Wallandilly website, but just turning up is okay. That's all the activities that I've got happening in March. I'm sure there are more, but again, have a look at our Facebook page for more details.
It's such a buzzy month, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we might as well get out there and enjoy it, I think, because, it's the end of summer, winter will come, and we will enjoy being out there. And I'm definitely going to Pinaroo. That's one I think I would like to go to. But boy, when am I going to sleep?
So I think that'll do us for today.
Absolutely.
So you can find us on Highland FM at 8 p.m. on Monday nights, or anytime on their website under podcasts. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you get your podcasts. We're also available on YouTube, where we've got lots of great photos, and we're getting more and more really excellent photos from some great contributors. So lots of photos to go with our audio over there. Our channel over there is called Going Wild in the Highlands. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. On Facebook, there's lots of other stuff happening that you don't hear about on the show, so check us out over on that page. Give us a like, subscribe, all that stuff. And we'll put our nature activities calendar up there when it's ready. And the special thank you to Louise Docker for preparing that for us. Louise has been a fantastic supporter of the podcast. We really appreciate her input.
She's also a wonderful photographer, nature photographer.
She supplies a lot of our photos, and we're just so glad to have her on the team. Our email address is flossandlou@gmail.com. Thank you to Highland FM for sponsoring us this month. The Going Wild in the Highlands team included Adam, Warren, Harrison, and of course the eternally helpful Louise Docker. And a big thank you to our contributing photographers, Alan, the two Louises, Linda, Nigel, Mustafa, Anna and Jenny, and we're looking forward to putting a few more on our list after this month. Bye, everybody.
Bye now.